Dear Chandani and family and the highly distinguished guests, it's a great honor for me to be invited to speak a few words at this August launching of your esteemed book, which I of course had the privilege of reading while it was still in the manuscript stage. One of the greatest gifts that a human being can have is the ability to translate one's thoughts, ideas, beliefs, opinions, philosophies, and the memories as a narrative in written form, or so to say, articulate such in an organized and methodical manner. And you, Chandani, have achieved such to perfection. This comes with much experience, however, more so when you have the attendant clear thought process to go with it. We all need a teacher for our life's journey, and for me, I consider the doctrine of the Dhamma, well, that is the Buddha's teaching, to be mine. And it is more so now for me, because it has the answers for most of, if not all of our questions. Of course, there are many other philosophical items of advice that can teach young to formulate themselves to be self-achieving and industrious. I will excerpt from some of those that have inspired me from my very youth, which are still contemporaneous, especially for the younger generation of lawyers, men and women alike. For those young lawyers having fear of the profession, let alone the courthouse, and for those who may feel that life is full of pitfalls, remember that the wonder of life is not never to have fallen, but to have risen every time you have fallen. Two very important qualities of perfection that will always hold you in good stead are the adhisthana, which is the determined resolve, and two, the virya, which is the energetic effort. This applies equally to men and women both. Well, there is this story I heard a long time ago when I was a young kid about this poor boy in the village living in a small hut who had to study via a lampu kuppiya. And ඒ කතන්දරේ මම සිංහලෙන් කියන්නම් මොකද චාන්දනි මං හිතන්නේ මට මතක හැටියට කිව්වා පුළුවන් නම් සිංහලෙන් කියන්න කියලා. ඒ කතන්දරේ මෙහෙමයි වෙන්නේ. ඒක ඊටාත්ම හොඳ උපමාවක් අපේ ජීවිතයට. මොකද ඊටාත්ම දුප්පත් මේ දරුවා එයාගේ පියා ගෙදර ලාම්පු කුප්පිය මාර්ගයෙන් තමයි ඉගෙන ගන්න. පාඩම් කරන්නේ. කොහොම හරි ඊටාත්ම ධෛර්යය දාලා ඒ දරුවා ශිෂ්‍යත්වය පාස් වෙලා හොඳ ලොකු ඉස්කෝලේකට නගරේ ගියා. ඒ නගරේ ගියාම ඔක්කොම පොසත් ළමයි එනවා සුපෝකබෝගී වාහනවල. මේ දරුවා යාළු වුණා ඊටමත්ම පොහොසත් තවත් දරුවෙක් සමග. ඒ දරුවගේ ගෙදර යනකොට තේරුණා මේ දරුවට විදුලි බලය තියනවා ඒ ගෙදර. මොකද මේ දුප්පත් දරුවගේ ගෙදර විදුලි බලය තිබුණා. ඒ කාලේ මට මතක හැටියට අපේ ගම් පළාත්වල පිටිසර විදුලි බලය ලයිට් තිබුණේ නැහැ. ඉතින් ඒගොල්ලෝ ලාම්පු කුප්පි වලින් තමයි හුඟක්ම තමාගේ වැඩ කටයුතු කරුවේ. ඉතින් මේ දරුවට මේ දුප්පත් දරුවට තේරුණා මේ පොහොසත් එයාගේ මිත්‍ර දරුවා ඉතාමත් පහසුවෙන් ඉගෙන ගන්නවා. ඉතාමත් පහසුවෙන් එයාට වැඩි මහන්සි වෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. එයාගේ එයා කන්ඩිෂන් තියෙනවා. ගෙදර හැම එකම ලැබෙනවා. පහසුවෙන් එයා ඉගෙන ගන්නවා. එකම විභාගවලට මේ දුප්පත් දරුවට හුඟක් මහන්සි වෙන්න ඕනේ. මේ පොහොසත් දරුවාට එච්චර මහන්සි වෙන්නේ නැතුව. ඉතින් මේ දරුවා මේ දුප්පත් දරුවාගේ පියාගෙන් අහනවා අනේ තාත්තේ මට මොකද මෙච්චර පහසුකම් නැතුව මේ වගේම ඉගෙන ගන්න වෙලා තියෙන්නේ මගේ පොහොසත් මිත්‍රයාට සියලුම සැප පහසුකම් එක්ක එයාට ඉගෙන ගන්න ලැබෙන්නේ කියලා. ඉතින් මේ පියා කියනවා පුතේ ඒක ගැන අපි ඊර්ෂ්‍යා වෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. ඒක ගැන අපට කනගාටු වෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. අපට කරන්න තියෙන්නේ ඒ පොහොසත් දරුවා වගේ දෙගුණයක් වැරදරලා දෙගුණයක් වීරිය දමලා ඉගෙන ගන්න තත් කරන්න. එහෙම ඉගෙන ගත්තම තමාට ඒ තත්ත්වෙට එන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකට කනගාටු වෙන්න හේතුවක් නැහැ. තමාට තියෙන්නේ දෙගුණයක් නෙමෙයි. ඒ දරුවට වඩා ඕනනම් දියුණු වෙන්න තෙගුණයක් හෝ තුන්ගුණයක් හෝ හතර ගුණයක් වෙහෙස දරලා කරන්න. හොඳ උදාහරණයක් තියෙනවා. සමහර කට්ටිය කැමති වෙයි හෝ නොකැමති වෙයි. අපේ හිටපු ජනාධිපතිවරයෙක් ඉන්නවා ආර් ප්‍රේමදාස කියලා. එතුමත් මං හිතන්නේ ඉතාමත්ම පුංචි පවුලකින් දියුණු වෙච්ච, වෙර දරලා, මහන්සි වෙලා දියුණු වෙච්ච පුද්ගලෙක්. ඒ වගේම හැමතිස්සෙම මමත් ඕනෑම දුප්පත් දරුවෙක්ට මම යෝජනා කරන්නේ වෙහෙස දරන්න, වැර දරන්න, වෙන පහසුකම් තියෙන දරුවෙක්ට වඩා මහන්සි වෙන්න. මොකද තමාට පුළුවන් ඒ තත්ත්වයට එන්න. මොකද අපට කනගාටු වෙන්න හෝ ඊර්ෂ්‍යා වෙන්න හේතුවක් නැහැ ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන්. අපට ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම මම මේ මෙල්බන් ඕස්ට්‍රේලියාවේ ඉන්නකොටත් අපටත් ඒ වගේම ප්‍රශ්න වලට මුහුණ දෙන්න වෙනවා. Of course, if I translate myself back into English, even here in Australia, where I am in Melbourne, we can also complain and whinge that there is discrimination or racial bias, etc., etc. No, it does not have to be so. What we need to do is to just strive harder than the others, put more effort and more determination. Then you will earn the respect that you deserve. You automatically become better than the rest. For that, you need to be organized, methodical, and strive your best while doing the utmost in your skills to be a perfectionist. Perfectionist කියන්නේ පරිපූර්ණ කෙනෙකු වෙන්න, පරිපූර්ණ විදියට වැඩක් කරන්න, සම්පූර්ණයෙන් යමක් හරියාකාරව කරන්න අපි දිරිදරන්න ඕන. There is always room in the legal profession at the top, and definitely there is enough room in the middle of the legal profession. And there will always be enough cases going round for all lawyers. You know, if human nature in its natural course prevails, there will be litigation all the time until the end of time, as it has been from the beginning of time. So never will there be a lack of work for legal representation, so to speak. My advice, of course, is to study the law and the legal procedure more than the facts. Because if you know your law and procedure, then the facts will apply to the law and procedure, and vice versa too. Yes, that is because there is always some exception or theory that could be mounted on the circumstances of the narrative of the case and evidence. That is to say, the study of the law and the legal procedure is much more important than the study of the facts. Because facts do change from case to case. However, the law takes longer to change, though can be applied differently. The best example is in a case of litigation. There will be a winning side and a losing side. The winning side will always say that the truth and fairness won, while the losing side will equally say that the truth lost and there was no fairness. Well, what does the judge have to say about it? He or she will say that the law and justice that won, and not just only the truth or fairness. Even from a judge's point of view, one can just think that judges to judges are also, their thinking also a relative. Their opinion is relative. It's subjective. That is where the hierarchy of the courts, where all the time one judge's conclusion or judgment can be contested via a higher court until it goes to the very top and to the very erudite and the wise in the Supreme Court. Therefore, it is very important to always go with an open mind before a judge or court. Furthermore, even if some of the new generation of lawyers in Sri Lanka feel that it is distasteful, what I'm going to say, I say learn your English to the best. ඔය අවස්ථාවේදී මම හැමතිස්සම කියන්නේ ඉංග්‍රීසි තමාගේ ඉංග්‍රීසි භාෂාව දියුණු කරගන්න බලන්න. මොකද ඉංග්‍රීසි භාෂාවෙන් තමයි මුළු ලෝකෙම කනෙක්ට් වෙන්නේ මේ දවස්වල. ඒ හේතුව නිසා ඉංග්‍රීසි දියුණු කරගන්න පුළුවන් මුළු ලෝකෙම ඕපන් වෙනවා. මුළු ලෝකෙම විවෘත වෙනවා තමාට. තමාගේ දියුණුව තකා. There is so much more knowledge in the wide sphere of information in the English language. Well, as you know, floating around, as well as that is the language which connects the world all around us with us. Practice your submissions or arguments before a mirror. Write them down in a paper and keep adding and correcting them until you feel that it is the best you are going to present. then naturally you will gain the confidence and the ability to present it so as to be convincing. The art of cross-examination is something that will only come with the fluctuation of time and experience. For that, you need to first master the examination in chief, then learn the next stage only by trial and error. Yes, I know, it may be at the expense of some clients and litigants. Well, I have no answer for that, except to say that as a lawyer, your duty is to do the best in your capacity, skills, capabilities and learning, and nothing more. Be logical in your thinking. Find the roots of the cause and the effect will materialize by itself. And I always have practiced this, always help others whenever they need any. And the relevant help and the goodness you need too will come your way. That is as you know, that's the law of karma, I believe. You may sometimes feel distrust that you will not attain what you wish for or dream of attaining, but give everything time, as nothing comes immediately, unless of course you are born with the silver spoon in your mouth. So do not aspire to be a president's counsel or a Supreme Court judge straight away. Just work towards it, and you may achieve what you rightfully deserve, somewhere even close. So to say, the younger ones, whether male or female, have to sacrifice and forego many material pleasures and family time too in order to stabilize their careers at the beginning. As the great philosopher Immanuel Kant said, sometimes you have to sacrifice lower pleasures to gain a higher happiness. Actually, you do not have to go looking for fame or the limelight, because if you just do everything by striving hard to achieve such, then the fame and prestige will follow you. To the younger generation of juniors, I would say, be patient and find your foothold gradually in the profession. Yes, it may even find you before you know it. When you have your first case or maybe your first actual trial, study everything in the brief, the laws, the procedure that apply to all the circumstances. Then study the client, the witnesses, the facts and evidence. For that, keep reading all the ratio decidendi in the NLRs and the SLRs or whatever the new law reports in Sri Lanka are. That I believe is a very quick way of learning how to be a winner in the legal profession. One might think that how much you do, there are outside forces that are repulsing you. Well, that is the law of nature. But how do you overcome it? Not by being depressed or distressed all the time, but by planning on how you will face it, by strategizing your future, by clearing all the mistakes you have made previously, because we all make mistakes all of our life. But the greatness is if you can learn from those to enlighten your future. Yes, as you know, we shall have failures and victories, successes and downfalls, praises and complaints. Not yearly or weekly, but sometimes each single day, changing by the hour. Nothing is permanent in life because everything has different days, will bring different results, different fortunes and misfortunes. Well, as you know, those are the Ashtaloka Dhammas. To end my few words, I wish all of you good health and much happiness from Melbourne, Australia. And in conclusion, I wish to read one of the greatest poems ever written by a renowned poet to inspire our daily worldly life. මම ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම මේ චාන්දනීගේ පවුලේ සහ අනිත් සම්භාවනීය අමුත්තන්ට ඉතාමත්ම සෞභාග්‍ය අනාගතයක් මේ මෙල්බර්න් නගරයේ සිට ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරන ගමන්ම සුබපතන ගමන්ම මම ආසයි ඔබතුමන්ලට මම ඉතාමත්ම මේ අගය කරන පොයම් එකක් රුඩ්යාඩ් කිප්ලින් විසින් ලියපු if කියන පොයම් එක කියවන්න. ඒක ඉතාමත්ම වටිනා පොයම් එකක්. පුළුවන් නම් ඕගොල්ලන්ට ඒක ඩවුන්ලෝඩ් කරගෙන ඒක කියවගන්න තියාගන්න. ඒකෙන් ඒක කියවලා මම මගේ වචන ස්වල්පේ අවසන් කරන්න මම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ඒ පොයම් එක යන්නේ if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster, and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to, broken, and stoop and build him up with worn out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on, when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on, if you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man or a woman, my son or my daughter. Thank you, everybody.